So now we're gonna get into game number 1 of our second series. Here in the bottom right, in the blue, it says Anna here, but this is Nina. And in the upper left, in the red, from Aftermath, it's Snoxtar. Now, full disclosure here, as you're watching this on YouTube, I cast the majority of this series live, and then I had a power blip. So I lost the recording. I didn't catch the second half of the game. I do know roughly what happens in this, but I ended up casting this map like 2 or 3 days after I cast map 3, map 4, map 5. So, you know, just full disclosure there, but we're going to get into game 1 of this series. And by the way, when I say map 5, map whatever, I'm not giving any spoilers. These are just examples. So, we're looking at game 1 here, Furious Resolve. This is the new map. We've seen a little bit of it. Well, I don't know if we can call it new, because this is also the map that this has been a all-time great Brood War map. This has been a Warcraft map. This has been a StarCraft 2 map. Like every Blizzard-like RTS game has gone, and they've had their own version of Fighting Spirit, Furious Resolve, whatever it is you want to call it. So important to point out, I guess, that, you know, but this map is, I enjoy it. I think there are some issues with the speed camps depending on how spawns go. Because there is always going to be this issue that the speed camps are going to be slightly closer on vertical spawns to one player compared to the other. And then, well, that's not going to be all that great. But Snoxtar is going to open up Conclave here in this game number 1. There are a couple different ideas you can go for. In this case, by the way, again, this is going to be Conclave Expand. We see the imp here waiting to go dive into the ground, build a shrine. I like that. I guess it gets raised to heaven on that one. But anyways, Conclave Expand is kind of cool. So yes, it is a little bit less Luminite efficient early on, because you do have to go and mine a couple workers off Therium. You don't max out your Luminite quite as quickly. But on the flip side, what you get, the benefit you get here is that your initial couple gaunts, they shred these early camps. They shred specifically the light camps. So again, because gaunts got bonus damage versus light armor. So that is very useful. And they shred those camps. They make it very, very difficult. Or they make it not even very difficult. They make it very easy to go and take these camps down. So Nina, by the way, on her side, this is going to be a Seraphim opener. And this is the other thing that we can talk about in this setup, where Nina, yeah, she may get the camp, she may get the kills, but she's not going to get the camp here. And these gaunts are just really good against the Seraphim. Now, if this had been more of an Argent opener, that would have been pretty sad. The gaunts would not have been happy. Because against an Argent opener, you want to go double vault. You want to have a bunch of fiends and get this around, just have some fun. But it's very hard, nigh impossible, for the Infernal player to know exactly which it's going to be off the top by the time you're getting that first structure down. So it is very much a gamble. It is very much Snoxtar saying, I think this is what my opponent is going to go for, and that's how I'm going to counter it. Now, if that's how that, and it's not unplayable, right? If you go brutes and, you know, Seraphim are on the map, maybe that's a little annoying, because while the Seraphim don't really kill the brutes all that quickly, the brutes have no way, absolutely no way to handle the Seraphim. So that becomes very, it's just like, oh, okay, well, I guess I'm stuck at home. And much the same way if you have a bunch of gaunts, you have to be very careful of the Argents, because they will poke you down and you just don't kill things all that quickly. But for now, again, this matchup is going the way of Snoxtar rather than us. He's going to go try to take the Vision Camp for himself at this point. Lots of gaunts, and gaunts don't really kill these Shadow Demons all that quickly. But, as we can see Nina go, again, she's going to be able to get the demons, I think. Oh, shot goes down as well. She took the middle. I didn't even realize. And that means that Snoxtar, he's eating some juicy shots. I think that she got so big shot there. That's a big shot. I think that she got both Shadow Demons as well. So nice job there, Nina, making sure that she gets both Vision Camps. She gets the center camp, raised that one straight to heaven, and gets herself the V5 rocket launcher from it. And Snoxtar is just taking some massive shots. They finally starting to dodge away from it, but every single one of these gaunts are going to go down now. Maybe a single Seraphim dies. I think one died here. But this rocket launcher found so much value in this game number 1. So we talked about Nina's opener. We talked about how good Seraphim can be, or how good the opener is for Snoxtar at this point. But if he's just going to eat shots like this, time after time after time. There's really not a lot that you're supposed to do. So for now, we're going to see the effigy get dropped. And I think at this point, yeah, at this point, the V5 rocket launcher, you're in too close. It's going to go down. But it already got a lot of damage done. It already killed 10 Gaunts. What is that? 125 Therium or so? Oh, wait a minute. I forgot to edge scroll, please. This is 0-0, and this is a best of 7. There we go. Oh, now third base, just about done for Snoxtar at this point. And Nina, well, she's got her third as well, but the question is, what is the transition, right? So it's going to be double Starforge here coming out. I'm assuming this is just going to be a bunch of scythes. Scythes are something that really don't have great answers for the Inferno player right now. Yeah, you can get some Shadow Flyers out. You can try to fight them with Gaunts, but certainly once they get Retaliation Matrix, it's just very hard to deal with them. They get up to like plus 20 damage. It's insane. It really is quite a bit of damage. So for now, again, it looks like we have this bit of a time where we are slowing down just a little bit. Yeah, Seraphim are trying to harass as well as they can, and this was a Shroud Stone that was dropped down, and that does slow things down. But that's also 50 Animus that Snoxtar has had to go spend to make sure that he stays alive. That is 50 Animus. That's not a Hellspawn Resurgence. That's not something else. That's not even, you know, spreading the effigies as much as he would like. But he is doing a very good job in this mid game now that everything's starting to slow down a little bit. He's dropping these effigies quite significantly, and in fact taking advantage, I think, a little bit of that the shroud buff you get from dropping the Shroud Stone to make sure that the effigy could be a little bit more developed on the map. And remember, so when we talk about Shroud is not creep. Shroud does not go and make you faster in any way, but what Shroud does do is it means that this white health that Gaunts have, it means they regenerate that at 2, 3, 4% per second based on the highest tier of tech that you're on, whether this is a shrine 2%, a greater shrine 3%, elder shrine 4%. So it provides, you know, pretty decent HP buff, especially against these tankier units, right? So sure, Nina's gonna try to take this effigy down, has to kite away, barely, not enough damage. But, you know, for something like a Gaunt that has 80 HP, 20, you know, 20 max white health, and regenerating 3% of that per second is not a ton. But, for example, if you're going and you're getting Weavers or Magmadons or the Flay Dragon at an extreme example that have 500, 600, 700 HP, that does matter a whole lot more. Also, of course, being on Shroud means that you can go and... well, means that that glaives actually work, means that these plague axes actually go and spawn things. So for now, well, this is not a fight that Snoxtar is ever going to want to take. In the fighting into the speed zone is not something that you want to do, not at all. So for now, the game has slowed down just a little bit. Again, fourth base here from Snoxtar. He does have a triple Therium mine, so he's gonna be fine there. Again, this is not one of those maps where you really do struggle to go and actually get your third Therium patch, which is a big problem. This is actually a significant problem for Infernal players in the mid to late game, where they just run out of that secondary resource. It becomes very difficult to take. But in this case, again, because there's this double Therium mine in a pretty well defended position, let's be real, Snoxtar doesn't have as much pressure on him to go and do what he needs to do. So and to go and really expand to another Therium base all that quickly. For now, though, again, as we take a look at this base going a little bit more, double Twilight Spire going down. Greater Shrine is done. I thought I saw an Elder Shrine for a second, but I guess not happening at the moment. Elder Shrine maybe on the way eventually, but for now it's a Greater Shrine. Fourth base done, fifth base on the way. Snoxtar's economy is starting to very much boom, although we can't even say it's that bad because Nina has her fourth base scouted, certainly, but on the way. Fifth base Therium Purifier is going down. So the game is really developing into the late game at this point. Nina's army is still very, very good but it is something that is kind of deathbally. This is not an army where 5 scythes can do what they want elsewhere. You really do want to have them all together, because a couple scythes can get picked off. 20 scythes are going to be very difficult to go handle, but for now, Snoxtar, he's the one that has had the map control for a little bit, which means he's the one that's getting aggressive here with the V5, with everything else. And the question now is whether these Gaunts are going to be able to take that fight with the Black Holes here, with these Dark Prophecies. That answer off the top of the hat is a resounding, and I mean a resounding no. So this first attack for Snoxtar, a second Dark Prophecy on the bottom side that eventually he's going to run through, but the damage is so significant that this is just not going to work out whatsoever. Snoxtar takes a horrendous fight. Really, truly a horrendous fight. Now, Elder Shrine's halfway done, so this means the Shroud upgrade, which means you can, your Shroud spreads on the map a little bit more. 50%, your Shroud spreads 50% further. When you can go and you can get the Elder Dragon out, you can get some tier 3 upgrades. All these things are the Flame Dragon, excuse me. All these things are very, very nice. But for now, Shadowflyer is going to try to dive in. And, well, other benefit of these Animancers is they heal things below them. They aren't able to suck that damage down. But for now, the toggle is not there. These shields are just not doing what they need to do. And this heavy scythe count that Nina had, it just doesn't exist anymore. And she cannot afford to take this fight. So Therium Purifier will go down, but she still... Look, she still has this high ground. She still has this 5th base that does have that Therium available, that does have that Luminite available to her. And that means that Snoxtar just continues to build more Shadowflyers. He continues to build more Gaunts. And also, again, you're at the point where you're trying to go and establish your Animus just a little bit more. Because at this point, well, you would love to have the greater dragon, excuse me, the Flay Dragon on the field. That means that you're going to go and you start to really create this problem that Celestials deal with, where Celestials, they have 2 levels of splash, right? They have Dark Prophecy, they have Scythes, are the 2 really good splash options. But they really do, even still, they struggle to deal with Fiends. The Fiend count, when it starts to grow, is something that is very difficult for the Celestial player to really deal with. So if you can go and you can get the dragon out, and we can see we're at 100 Animus on the map, really need to get up to 300 or so. Once you get it to that point and you're spawning double Fiends from every infest, and you're just infesting everything all over the place because you have the Dragon Breath, right? You're not worried about fighting on Shroud versus off Shroud and or a small Nightfall infestation, finding some sort of value there. You're just making sure that you have the dragon nearby, and then you're spawning double Fiends, and it becomes very difficult for the Celestial player to properly handle this. So for now, Nina's composition is going to be Scythe Animancer, no Sabers on the map, which I must admit I think is a little surprising. I guess she doesn't really have the Therium for it, though. It is kind of the problem. Therium is just so incredibly important, and if you don't have it, well, you cannot afford those Sabers. So now Shroud starts to creep towards Nina's side of the map. Here's the effigies. Well, they've taken most of the rest of the map, but now they're going to push forward onto the right side. And with these Hellborn here, which again, Hellborn do such a nice job of taking down the static defense that is otherwise such a problem. So the static defense will fall down. Sovereign's Watch with the upgrade going a ham here. 3 charges going down, getting damage done. But the army of Nina is not where it needs to be, not just yet. So the blast nodes are doing good. The Sovereign's Watch is doing fantastically, but Nina comes in for the smoke on the backside. Hellborn go down immediately, but you got it. Split, and the sides just disappear. They're totally gone. Absolutely disappear, but it's now going to be about maybe this ground army, the Argents and the Animancers and the Scythes that are still here, getting what they need to get done now. Hellborn on the backside. Well, the Scythes, they say absolutely we can knock those down. 100% we can knock those down, but the Shadowflyers are just annihilating them. So Nina, you know, reasonable fight maybe, even as she loses some economy. But man, these Scythes, these Animancers, they were expensive. They take a long time to build. And there's already another army. And this time the Flay Dragon's up. This time, Snoxtar, he's going to be able to build 2 Fiends. And it's not all that hard to get his opponent on Shroud at this point. So Infest goes down. Now you can Purify this. Nina has to drop a Purify. And she will. So at least the Infest is not necessarily going to stay there. But even still, this army is not one that really wants to fight. Animancers are doing a good job of keeping everything healed up. Certainly they are. But now Shroud's here once again. Purify, and they got to run away from that one. Nightfall Infest as well. And the Shroud numbers, excuse me, the Fiend numbers are just getting that much higher. Infest on everything. And this is just a situation that Nina struggles to fight. She cannot clear these. She cannot clear the Fiends the way she wants to anymore. That's the big problem right now. Yes, there are some Dark Prophecies. Yes, there are some Purifies. But it's just not getting enough done. And excuse me, the Animators are certainly dead. I think there's one that remains. The Argents are not doing all that well either. And Snoxtar's just running roughshod right over this. This dragon timing way too strong. I mean, just look how far this Shroud spreads as well on the single effigy. At this point in the late game, when you have the effigy as you do, and you have that upgrade, 50% further Shroud, it's just, you don't have to worry about your opponents not being on Shroud anymore to make sure that you have Infest. It's just fine. So for now, we're going to see an Animator, and these sides trying to take off this lonely Hellborn. Oh, I thought this was a, I assumed that was the upgrade. No, that was actually just dropping an overcharged tower somewhere. Maybe it was right there. I don't know, but that was just dropping an overcharged Shroud Stone. So there is that. But now Nina's lost her bottom side. Snoxtar's taking this one for himself. So Nina's going to be very upset about that one. And oh god, the Nightfall Infest as well. The slow here is so strong. It just allows this fight. Often it can be very hard. Man, those Prophecies are doing a really good job though, taking down all the Gaunts, taking down so many of these Shadow Flyers. And if there are no Shadow Flyers, if there's nothing to buffer for the dragon, well, suddenly the sides, they start to do very well indeed. But for now, it's all about the timing. Snoxtar holds the majority of his army back here. The rest of the Gaunts are going to show up. And now with Nightfall, or excuse me, with Shroudfall, plus everything else, you can just drop effigies on top of everything. These Gaunts are just, or these Fiends are so hard to deal with. And yes, there will be double Sovereign's Watch. That is very much the case. But with this Hellborn here, taking things down with the Dragon as well, that should be fine. And yeah, Nina doesn't have an army at this point. She will have to back away for the time being. Yes, she will. Or yes, Snoxtar will, I guess. She will force Snoxtar back, but Nina doesn't have an army. She does have 4 bases, but Snoxtar has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Snoxtar has 8. Which is not a position that feels very good for our Celestial player at this point. So Snoxtar, now that he's gone and shoved Nina back into the Stone Age, is going to kill everything here, which means the prisons will fall, which means these Therian Purifiers get taken out, which means this base here is going to fall down. The Arc Fortress probably dies as well. And Fiend just doing tremendous work. So at this point, I mean, there is not a lot. Yeah, there we go. I mean, Shadow Flyers on prisms are maybe not what you want, maybe not really worth the cost, but you're fine. Because at this point, Snoxtar is up 150 supply, 140 supply, and Nina's holding on in the vague hope that she's not dead, but she is absolutely dead in this game. And game 1 is gonna go the way of our Infernal player. Snoxtar makes the comeback happen, goes up 1. So here we are. It's game number 2. Game number 1, of course, really interesting mid game. And then something happened. Again, power went down. If you're watching this on YouTube, you know what happened, because I'm going to go back and cast game number 1. Otherwise, if you're watching this live, we don't know exactly what happened. We don't know exactly how things resolved. All we know is that eventually Nina lost pressure. Snoxtar got himself up to the late game, had a couple Hellborn just to target the Animancers down, and just had enough Shadow Flyers to blow up everything. He had a dragon as well, and life just became very difficult for Nina. But Nina, it's another day, it's another day, it's another game. This map is much, much better. This map is much, much better for the Seraphim build that Nina's going for than it was in game number 1. But even as I say that, yeah, I'm like, Seraphim build, because she is mining some Therium early. This is not creation first. This is collection array first. So it does slow down your tier 2. It does slow down your Legion Hall a little bit. So this may actually not be for the Seraphim idea. This may just be for, I've seen some quick Guardian Nexus Kree builds on the new setup, because Kree have been buffed. I've seen a bunch of different things. So we're gonna have to see exactly what it is that Nina wants to go for in this game. I think technically, again, because there are so many creep camps on the map, you do want to go. Okay, it's gonna be the Seraphim build. I was gonna say you do want to go for the Seraphim build because that is absolutely what you want. Real Speedy Builders are asked, is this a pair? Yes. Apparently Celestials are, they're vegetarians. You know, we have Infernals, they eat meat. Celestials, they eat pears, and Vanguard, they eat bread. This is what the overlay gives us. Anyways, Legion Hall goes down. I think it's interesting that we're not seeing this get proxied. That was what we saw a lot of in the last patch, where you would just go proxy the Legion Hall on the map on a lot of these different bases and go and just find value in that way. But in this case, it's going to be at home, and we're going to have a Fiend go up to, oh, okay, what exactly? Check the natural. Actually doesn't see anything, so slows the scout down a little bit. But again, Nina, she's taking the third, so that's fine. Importantly, because that is double Therium. Like, she gives access to this Therium patch and this Therium patch. So this one Fiend is going to do annoying things. It's going to try, but there's a Link Node up, and not that that does much of anything here, but the Seraphim's going to pop out eventually, and that is going to be fine. Now, I'm a little bit worried because this is a 1-1 opener, one base timing coming out of Snoxtar, has the speed camp to work with. Doesn't help right now. This Link Node's dead. You wanted that to be a strike node. You wanted that to be a blast node. If there's a blast node down, this attack just does not work. But for right now, Nina sees exactly what's happening. Sees all of the Fiends, sees all of the Brutes. And this, yeah, okay, is going to get turned into a blast node. Sovereign's Watch turned on him right now. But hey, there's an effigy here, and this is target 1 alpha. This is the problem. You take this down, there's not a lot of defense. It's a single Seraphim. Double Sovereign's Watch is going to try to keep Nina alive, and it seems like for the time being it will. Again, you're just buying time for the blast node. This Sovereign's Watch does not last very long. You know, it was fixed. It was fixed, so it actually targets the right units now. Not that that matters all that much here. But only a single Sovereign's Watch available. Again, trying to get on top of this Link Node. And I think it dies again. Link Nodes are not tanky. Blast Nodes are, but Link Nodes are not. And Nina is just getting one base all in. The timing was there. Snoxtar found when he needed, saw just how vulnerable this build is from Nina, and everything's dead. This is not a setup. Nina has no power. She does not produce quickly at all. And this entire setup is just going to eventually fall down. That's what this is. A single Seraphim does not solve the problems that Nina's running into right now. And there's no way. I mean, yes, this is trying to turn into a blast node, but before the blast node's done, it doesn't have armor. It just doesn't survive. And there we go. Nina is hella dead in this game. Snoxtar with the all-in timing gets everything he needs and more, and that's a game 2 victory for our Infernal player. So here we are. Again, it's been that Seraphim build. Nina tried to be a little greedier with it in game number 2, opening collection array into the creation chamber, and that meant that just the first Seraphim was popping by the time the all-in from Snoxtar hit, and that feels very, very vulnerable. So Nina actually, she's got this morph core on the map. The traditional that we saw Ariel do, the traditional proxy position would be here. You just put the Legion Hall right here, and you kind of clear these 3 camps. You go, you get the siege creep very quickly, and you go from there. I don't know if that's what we're going to see in this game. This morph core has taken a rather roundabout route. It's going to go here, okay, even further out of the way. It is still technically on a position you can be there. You can exist on, so it's something that can get taken down eventually. Where is it that we're seeing go here? So let's see. Arc ship halfway into an arc station. Certainly there is that. Prism, of course. Well, this is a little bit annoying, but really is. This Prism should not die. You know, that is... we had that one setup, but that was just because the players disconnected. So Link Node's going to go down. We're going to have actually nothing getting bait. Nina's trying to be very efficient with this one. Now the arc station's there, which means we should see the Legion Hall go down. There we go. Legion Hall popping. Seraphim on the way behind this. And you just make sure, there we go. You surge off the collection array. That means that the Prism gets healed, and you will be fine. So recall back home, Snoxtar has a reasonable idea about what it is that Nina's going for. Whether... Okay. So I was going to say reasonable idea about what Nina's going for. That this is Therium, double Prism on Therium. That tells you, okay, arc station's done. This is going to be a Seraphim build, but it's not the greedy one we saw on Lost Hope that got just annihilated immediately. So in this game, Snoxtar's doing double Conclave, not a single Vault, just a lot of Gaunts. And that is very good against the Seraphim idea, right? Seraphim They can kill off a Gaunt here or there, but they don't kill everything. And yes, if you search a collection array, it does in fact heal the prisms around it. That is a very nice thing you can do. But now, okay, Nina took the siege tower as the first camp that she took. So now there's just going to be a random siege tower on the map pushing forward. Single Seraphim, single V5 rocket launcher second Seraphim on the map. And again, we saw how powerful this was in the last one. Is this going to work out? I don't know. You know, it's kind of fun. 120 damage to structures means that these effigies get annihilated here. Second one's going to pop up just in time. And this time, Snoxtar's not really going to take damage from this big war. Okay, well, he takes a little damage, but he's on... Yeah, he's fine. He's on Shroud. That means that that means the Gaunt's white health regen is going to be okay. So the first pressure doesn't really accomplish a lot. It does kill off one of these effigies. That's going to be pretty fun. We do have... What do we have? Plague Axes. Not done. Not even started yet. Snoxtar doesn't have quite enough... There we go. Therium for it. So now Plague Axes are going to be on the way. Give him 2 minutes. He's going to have Plague Axes on the map. That's pretty nice. And we're just going to see Nina take the rest of the map, right? With the Seraphim early on, denying as much money as possible. And yeah, you know, you can't fight this army, so eventually the passive income is going to go the way of Snoxtar, just because, again, it's a lot of Gaunts, and you don't fight that all that easily. But in the meantime, well, hey, you're going to kill off a lot of these... Well, there we go. You're going to kill off a lot of these imps as they get into the healing zone, but that doesn't really keep them alive. Not enough. And that's 4 imps going down. That's going to be these Gaunts falling here as well because, well... There's just not enough of them here. And remember, yes, the healing zone is nice, but as long as the Seraphim... Well, actually, they don't even have to be on Shroud. They don't even have to care about being on Shroud at the moment because Plague Axes are not done yet. 45 seconds to go. That they can just go and kind of kill this stuff. It's fine. It's okay. The value is getting found here. And now, well, creep camp's on the right side taken down. Now Nina's going to go and take this setup in the middle. This bruiser is nice, but yeah. Half damage from creeps means that this bruiser is not going to kill anything. And more economic value that Nina is finding behind this. Is she taking any bases? She's still on 1 base. Is this like a 1 base Animancer thing? Oh no, I guess, okay. She did build a collection array here. Fair enough. I mean, it does make sure that taking these structures down is going to be somewhat difficult. It means that taking down the Legion Hall, for example... If Snoxtar tries to go over and commit to that one, that will be a bit of a struggle. And with there being a blast node. So blast node, can we see how... So this is 15 armor on the blast node. I wish there a free link node somewhere. And it's 400 HP. So blast node, this is actually a surged blast node as well. So it has 25%. It does so much damage. But anyways, I wish I could have a link node to compare, but it's double HP, right? It's more armor. A lot harder to break. So Snoxtar is going to go and take this Therium camp, I guess, and that's going to be fine. He's going to get himself a couple fiends off of that because, well, you know, he does have Plague Axes now. They're done. And what is Nina? Again, I don't know what Nina's transitioning to. Getting this energy camp is... I'm surprised she didn't commit to this earlier, actually. Getting this energy camp is so valuable if you're a Vanguard player in general, or if you're an Infernal player in general, because all your stuff relies on energy. Every little bit of anything you have relies on having good energy, and that means that if you have just up your regen, you're more effective on the map. You do more damage over time. So now V5 rocket launcher goes down. She could go and do this again. Guess maybe she doesn't have the energy available. I think she does. Forget how much Rapture costs, but a double when Ariel does this, he's got it's a quad timing. But okay, Animancer's on the Legion Hall. This is the prime Legion Hall as well, so they're going to pop out right there in kind of a bit of an awkward spot, but that makes this impossible to assail. Well, once Dark Prophecy is done. Prophecy is... Is it done? I'm not sure. I'm actually not sure. I click on it and I'm like, well, I actually... the upgrades there, they're no passives. They don't really show. But hey, that's going to be a free hex. And any value you can find is always going to be, of course... very nice, preventing this money camp from getting taken down a little bit. Now Nina's gonna find this 4th base and, you know, maybe kill it off. I don't... The 6 Seraphim is reasonable damage, but I don't know how much that's really going to matter now. Again, these are all infested for now. They're on Shroud, so you have to be careful with that one. Nina will have to run away. That's a free fiend, but it's all about the percentage damage, right? That's why infesting these units is just a little bit nicer. Splits on the Shadow Flyers. Shadow Flyers 2 commit, actually, and not a single Seraphim goes down. Nice splits there coming out of Nina, making sure that, again, you're looking to maximize value. So she's got her 3 bases, certainly. Tons of link nodes. I look at, man, I could have sworn that red was blast nodes, but I guess there's a, I don't know. I swore I clicked on this one. It wasn't upgrading. I could have sworn red was blast nodes. Apparently not. Or maybe it's a visual bug. I don't know. But I mean, I don't know. I mean, this is Surge. I don't know that there's a visual difference. I guess there's there's this aura around it. But yeah, I don't know what, I actually don't know what makes the difference between like the red base and others, because, you know, realistically, like, Nina's on yellow energy, but that's not what this shows. It's, you know, this is a surge strike. Well, I guess this aura is it being surged, but what, like, the link node and the warp node, they look, or the link node and the strike node and the blast node, they look the same. And obviously these are surged, so that's how they have the different particle effects. But I could have sworn there was some, like, when you make a link node by itself, it's blue sometimes. So I thought it was color that made the difference, but apparently it doesn't. I don't know. Anyways, for now, Animansters, Argent's on the field. We have, we're going to see Nina go, and she's going to find this extra base as Snoxtar tries to take even more. And this is not a fight. I don't think, yeah, there we go. Immediately, the effigy goes down. Now, Animancers, actually, I was going to say, I don't think this is a fight you can take, but Animancers are going to get found out here just a little bit. Dark Prophecy goes down. This is where life gets a little bit complicated, but the splits away are okay for now. Even still, I mean, that's a lot of damage being done here, and, well, Arc Station tries to go and make something happen. It's not really going to accomplish all that much. Has to run away. And Shadow Flyers, that's going to be some free prisms. That's all that is. But Dark Prophecy on the right side. Again, we will see this stuff get taken down. We will see these effigies. They go down. They last for half a second. They apply 1 round of infest. 10 seconds of percentage damage. That's something. And no upgrade, by the way, coming down on these Argents as well. So they only have 30 damage, not 50. But again, these prophecies are so very strong. We see 3 prophecies going down right now, and the Animancers, I mean, just with the Purify as well. The damage is so here. Nina just dumpsters this fight. Absolutely dumpsters this fight. Yes, there are still some units here, but there, yeah, absolutely. The prophecy says you're dead. That's what the prophecy says. And yes, there's a lot of Shroud on the map. Are we at tier 3? Yeah, Elder Shrine. So the upgrade there that means you have more Shroud does exist, but I guess it's not done actually right now. But this army is incontestable for the moment. It's so far away from the production of our Inferno player as well. So just the rally is very slow. It's a lot faster for Nina at this point. Especially, I'm very surprised. This should be a Prime Chamber. I'm very surprised that is not a Prime Chamber. But even still, you know, there's just, the production is closer. So we have one of these animations just getting very low. Should die, but no, there we go. Now we see the channel right. Now we see that health beam that heals everything, that steals energy, that gives it back. And that's why these Animancers can be so very strong against a bunch of everything. Now Dark Prophecy goes down. You kind of wait once again. Everything gets healed. Everything dies. And I think here, no, there's not enough energy. There's not enough for just a bunch of, you know, sudden health spawn resurgence to get a bunch of units out of these. Now, these 3 Hellborn, they represent a problem. They can target down these units that Nina has. They can force things back, and Nina's going to have to give this position up. Meanwhile, again, is she expanding? She is on the high ground here, so there is that. That is a very difficult position, but it looks like Nightfall Resurgence landed. That is a big deal, but Purify takes it off. And that means for now, Nina's going to have to back up here, but somehow the Skull Squisher wanted to have some fun. Aggroed on top of this, and now Nina has to run away tremendously. Scythe eats all the Shadow Flyers, so that's going to be fine. Goes and gets healed right back up, gets his energy back. And this needs to be Prime. This Creation Chamber needs to be a Prime. We're seeing Nina, she's got this Creation Chamber. Like, why? This should not be your Prime structure, Nina. You should be building Argent straight into the fight. So now, Shadow Flyers, they're going to find these prisms, but again, these prophecies are doing so much work. But Snoxtar, his macro position is fantastic. That fight was very good for Nina to go and take down so much of the army. But again, macro position is in a really nice spot. He has 5 Hellborn. That is what is that? Is that one shot? It's 250 damage. Yeah, it one-shots archers. So one-shots a lot of things, so you have to be very careful there. And 500 damage of volley against structures means that these collection arrays go down. So Nina, I'm very surprised that she hasn't tried to take this base. It's pretty close to home. I guess it is maybe a little exposed to a siege, but very surprised. Oh, okay. So the other power of the Animancers, this cloak, this ghost ability, this smoke ability, that maybe is going to enable a bit of an interesting fight. I don't know. Nina runs forward here. Most of her army is smoked. Most of her army looking for that ambush. Is she going to find what she wants? Eventually this time's out. Eventually the veil ends. And the entire army isn't smoked anyway. So I don't think this is going to find what Nina was really looking for. Not really, but she needs some way to get on top of the Hellborn. That is going to be the problem for now. Shroudstone's trying to turn into a Wraithstone. It will fall down. Bonus damage to heavy, and this entire army is pain. But Snoxtar, again, you got a lot of Shadow Flyers. These scythes in the sky are not untouchable. It really is all about these Animancers. If you can go and drop prophecies, you can get some dark prophecies going on top of the Shadow Flyers as they run in, you're very, very happy. You are able to go, and the Shadow Flyers, they disappear. Oh, Harenya is not in fact our title sponsor. They were for Stormgate Nexus. Thank you, Harenya, but I need to turn that rotator off. What are we looking at? Snoxtar, by the way, big Therium bank. Certainly not enough Animus to build a dragon. Did he get the dragon at some point? And I don't think he has, but big brute drop, Harbinger brute drop onto the other side here. They're just going to turn into a bunch of fiends. And this is a link node. It's not a strike node. That is a little bit awkward. I don't think there's that. Yeah, this is dead. Nina, not even a cancel. Now we're going to see Dark Prophecy going down. Again, it's a lot of fiends because I want to say the brutes have their... Let me click on these brutes. They don't have their upgrades. Okay, so it wasn't as strong as it once was, but it does force Nina out of position. And now these blast nodes that are so strong, these strike nodes that are so strong, well, Hellborn can knock them down. Hellborn do 100 damage to structures. It is plus 7 damage per second on the burn. It is a significant deal. So Nina has to be very careful in this one. Snoxtar does have the map. This late game macro is very scary. She's all stealthed up for now. Tries to dive on top. Purify drops and everything. That first, oh god, that first prophecy is not very good. And now big slow goes down, but it gets cursed off immediately by the Purify. So that Nightfall Infest doesn't do anything here. And it's all about the zoning, right? All about these zoning storms, all about these zoning black holes. But now Shadow Flyers on top of everything. But the invulnerability has been popped. A lot of these sides are still here. Brutes are going to try to get on top as well. But it looks like we're out of energy for the most part. It looks like these Dark Prophecies are going to go down. And the second part of this army is still here. Snoxtar spending his bank on everything on the Remax. He just continues to rally forward. This base will fall down at this point. Blast nodes are strong, but they're not that strong. And Nina's late game is just not finding what it needs here. This army is so big. He's done such a good job of taking every base on the map. He's got, what is this, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. He's onto his 6th base. Nina's only on 3.5. The macro game, the economic game that Snoxtar's been able to build in this game is so hard to deal with. Nina just doesn't have the money that she needs to properly handle this. And now massively power starved as well, minus 30. She's gonna get some of it back because, you know, some of that power starve was from casting some spells, was from casting some top bars, some divine interventions, I think they're called. Oh, those storms are very good, but the Shadow Flyers connect anyways. And, you know, this army is fighting the Vision Camp. It's not fighting the army of Nina, and that is an opportunity maybe. But you need to say, I feel like you want sabers here. When I see this army in the late game, I feel like Nina has over-indexed into things that are not sabers. And granted, she doesn't have a lot of money, but sabers do so good against these Hellborn, they just nuke them down. Bonus damage versus heavy, it's like 90 damage versus heavy. Per shot, there's splash damage. Hellborn kind of tend to sit in this line. I feel like adding in a couple sabers would be very good. But that just doesn't seem to be Nina's her modus operandi. And certainly with all the Shadow Flyers on the map, I feel like at this point, again, get some sabers, burst this. This army is incredibly fightable. Tremendously killable if you kill the Hellborn down. If you knock the Hellborn down, it is very, very manageable for Nina to deal with, but as it stands, very hard. So I guess the issue is kind of lack of money at the moment. Nina only had a lot of Loom Knight, doesn't have this bottom right side base. Now she did go and she did take this siege camp once again, but no base here, no setup, and now Snoxtar beaks around getting set up once again, pushing effigies forward. We have it Harbinger. Oh, he's gonna stun. It's gonna be for a stun. I want to say Seismic Slam. No, it's just for Shroud. Okay, it's just for Shroud. Doesn't seem to matter though. And Nina is gonna fall down as the dragon arrives. Snoxtar, quick 3-0 up in this series. Upper right in the, why are we doing this? Anyways, upper right in the blue, up 3-0. It's Snoxtar. Bottom left in the red, down 3 games. It's Nina. Rusty Shacky saying that he'll put in $25 for a Spooky Boney show match if that happens. It's a Spooky Bone Zone, and I have reached out to, I don't know if we're gonna get this, but I have reached out to Monk and I said, look, okay, I don't know how much of a lift this is. I don't know how this setup, I don't know how much of an issue it is, like copy and paste map settings. Ooh, that could be 2v2 Spooky could be fun. To copy and paste map settings on other maps, but if there is a way to make Everett to just take the map settings of Spooky Boneyard and apply it to every single map. Apply it to every single map. Just have a Spooky copy of every single map in the pool. Every single map, actually all 8 maps, because technically Jagged Mon exists. It's still there, it's just not in the ladder pool. But every single map, every single 1v1 map. You can apply that by Halloween. I will absolutely, and I think I can get sponsors for it, I will absolutely run a Spooky Halloween tournament. Now, I don't know if that's going to happen. Monk said he would ask the engineer who made Spooky Boneyard and see how much of an issue that would be, how difficult that would be to do. But I will, if that can happen, heard it here, it's confirmed right now, I will run an event for it. And it will be gloriously spooky. And I'm going to have a lot of fun with that one. For now, though, we're into map 4 here. Snoxtar again, up 3-1, going for a Conclave expand. As one does. I do think, again, I think Vault expands. I know why. It just feels better to have range units. We should try adding ladder maps that have mechanics like Spooky Boneyard with zombies. I don't know about that. I do think that at that point you're running... Man, they need to fix this. Shadow Demons are so bugged. They're supposed to do 20 damage a shot. They're doing 5. I mean, features, we had 200 people watching earlier, but then my stream didn't just die. The entire circuit that my computer was on died. So viewership's down a little bit, but you know, we have like 250 we had 250 aggregate across YouTube and Twitch watching. I had like 2,000 CCV on YouTube plus another 100 on Twitch. 2,000 CCV on YouTube plus like another 100 on Twitch. No, 2,000 on YouTube plus another 100. 2,000 on Twitch plus 100 on YouTube for Stormgate Nexus Finals. There are people interested in this game, certainly, and you know, we have a bunch of people watching. The doomerism is a thing. Is Nina going for a very, very significant Roxy here? Okay, but I need to make a brute costume. Better yet, get a Tasteos to cast the show match in a brute costume. I see where you're coming from, the French boy, but you know, realistically, ooh. This is interesting. So, wow, there we go. Kree were buffed in the last patch. They now have a lot more HP. So this Nina's going to go for this kind of Kree timing early on. It's a lot of map control. If Kree get on top of all these Gaunts, they are very, very scary. So Snoxtar's just going to have to give the map up for now. It takes his third base, cancels it. It's like, oh, wait a minute here. I see this. I see this problem. So he's going to go and build a Strat Stone to try to go and counter this aggression that's going to happen. Is there going to be replays? Yes, there will be. It's going to be in my Discord, !Discord. There'll be a replay pack going up after this. And ideally, I'll be getting the replay from game 1 where my power died. So we'll be fine there. Trying to figure out exactly why the power is dying, because again, it's weird. The computer that I have is less wattage on the circuit than the computer I used to have on the circuit, and certainly less aggregate wattage on the circuit. So I don't know why that's happening. We actually removed power. This happened twice yesterday, and we actually removed power We removed some of the power from the circuits. I really don't know what's up. As this Shroud Stone goes up and it goes down. Can't explain that one. So that counter pressure from Snoxtar doesn't really do much of anything. Yeah, no, Rusty, I'm not gonna get as a French sport, we're not gonna go and have Tastosis cast this. If I'm putting an event on, I'm casting it. This is for my growth, even as that fun as that would be. But now we're gonna see a lot of Gons just get exploded here. This build that Nina has gone for is a great solution to this idea of a well, actually right now, Shroud Stone Manifest makes life a little bit more difficult. And explosions! Ooh, stat on that one a little bit too much. This build is actually very good against this this setup that we have coming out of Snoxtar with the massive with the massive Gaunt setup. Again, just bonus damage versus light AoE. You dive on top of the Gaunts, it becomes very hard. Might be a short circuit within the computer PSU, maybe. But I've had this computer set up for like a week and I've streamed on it before then, and that also wasn't an issue. So Magmadons now, Kree are not useful. Magmadon are out, Kree are not particularly useful anymore. So the question is, did Nina get enough with this? She did delay the third base significantly. She is giving herself a lot of map control. She's giving herself a lot of these creeps. She has her third base done before even, I mean, again, there's a 2-base Infernal player going, of course. Reaper's Rush. Leg Axe is already done. She killed off a lot of Gaunts. This is a reasonable setup for Nina. This is absolutely a reasonable setup for Nina. There's a runaway imp. You don't want any of this smoke. Is it best of 5? It is best of 7, right? And we can see right here, upper left, best of 7 rotating. This is also Secluded Grove. That is the map, as Fiends are going to go for this run by. So Nina looks like transitioning into a bunch of Argents behind this, which is very good against the Brutes. It's good against the Magmadon. You target them down. You can go, of course, get the upgrade. I forget actually what it's called. Long shot module. There we go. +3 range. You can go and get photo capacitors, which is the more useful one that goes up to 50 energy. So you just kind of go and poke and poke and poke. And it actually is really nice if you're a player that likes to go and kind of just poke in and out, and see what exactly you can find. Kind of take these non-committal fights that Nina has been very much in favor of. I was watching her stream the other day, and she was like, "Yeah, I don't understand why everyone's talking about this Argent change as if it's a nerf." I spend my energy, I kill some units, I back up, I do it again. It's great. It feels very, very good. But I think that's the difference between how Nina likes to play. Actually, if the Magmadon popped its trample here, would it do bonus damage to the Creation Chamber? Because this is bonus, trample is bonus damage to heavy. But, you know, it's a spell, so I don't know if spells apply. Kappa 101, thank you so much for the Prime sub. Really appreciate it. Glad you're enjoying what we got put together today. Again, the goal for this is to have this happen every Sunday. I'll put up a Matcherino this was very last second, but I'll put up a Matcherino a couple days before, and then I'll probably put a poll in my Discord. No, maybe, I don't know. I'll ask what you all want. They changed Trample a couple patches ago to not hit buildings. Thank you, MSRM. I wasn't sure. Can anyone join in the future? So for right now, ideally it's gonna be high level players. If I can turn this into kind of a big brain bounce type of setup, that'd be really cool. But for right now, I'm especially as we're early in the patch, I want to see what top players are figuring out how the game gets played. Best of Rin Nankit, not best 2. But that is because that's what a lot of traditional sports do. You know, it's a best of 3, it's a best of 5, it's a best of 7. I guess for my eye, the better question is why did, as we're gonna see again, you tank with the Brute Gaunts, they're gonna be fine, but yeah, you just don't want the Gaunts to take that damage. The better question is why did things like Age of Empires, because I want to say Age of Empires does first 2 something, their first 2 nomenclature. What's also interesting, by the way, is that's an English versus another language thing. So I want to say, like if you have a best of 7 in Bulgarian or whatever language pack they use. Or no, it's Polish. I know in the Polish language pack, it's first 2-4, not best of 7. So it is very much an English language thing versus Polish versus whatever. I couldn't tell you exactly why. It's just how the language has evolved. Linguistics is fun. So Snoxtar has survived against this aggression from Nina early on, right? He's on his 4 bases now. over the last couple minutes. Nina's on 3, so she has fallen behind in that base count just a little bit. She's got Animancers and Argents and Kree, and this is still very much like a tier 1.5 army. We don't have Dark Prophecy. Yeah, in Bulgarian, we would say 4 out of 7. So would you say when you're talking about the format, would you say first to 4 or best of 7 in Bulgarian? I mean, not in English. I know in English it's best of 7. But I know, like, when you watch indie stream, for example, because I pulled that on, it's like OE7 or OE4 in a best of 7 in the overlay, something like that, because I don't speak Polish, but whatever that is, it's first to 4. Anyways, for now, camp's getting taken off. The powerful little cat. It's not an anime cat girl, but it is still a little cat. It's very cute, especially when it's on the ground, floating around the map, going and just claiming all camps. I gotta say, I'm a little surprised we don't see them used all that often to just hold vision as well. They're not that expensive, all things considered. You just put them in trees. They are cloaked if they're in trees. They can be very solid just to kind of have vision on the map. It requires Hexen or Weaver to go and see exactly what's happened. I mean, I think of like in MOBA esports, at least, and like Dota and League of Legends. In English, they say best of 3, best of 5. I don't think they have best of 7s. I believe in Counter-Strike it's also it's a best of X. It's best of 3, best of 5. Although they don't really even do best of 5s all that often. I believe that is true. Anyways, tier 3 done for Snoxtar. Molten Touch on the way, and Elder Shrine done. Anything else getting researched? Anything interesting? Can I find any more tech structures? Do we have a Shadow Cleft anywhere? I don't see one. We have the Hellforge. We have the Ritual Chamber. I don't see a Shadow Cleft. Okay, so for now, no Shadow Cleft upgrades available. Certainly not. I do think, again, that I've talked about this a lot. I will continue to talk about it. I do think that getting a single Harbinger is very strong. By the way, in this matchup, I'm very surprised to see Nina not try to take the middle early on. This feels very hard, at least in my games. It feels very hard for Infernal players to properly deal with this. For now, though, that is spicy. That is a lot of damage right there. So for now, actually really Power of the Purify as well. It takes off Molten Touch, so the damage over time doesn't really apply as long as you have Purified. You got a couple, you will have a couple charges of it. We say X out of wire would mix English words in speaking Bulgarian to say best of X. Okay, interesting. Yeah, they both work. I just think it's interesting that I'm engaging with the topic. Like, I don't know the answer, but together we can figure something out. And again, Nina, of course, a very good player, better player than I am, 100%. I gotta say, I am a little surprised to see her not playing with sabers. We do have Bly saying I expected to see a lot of sides, but we have 3. She is making more. She is making more. We got 5 on the map, building them 3 at a time. If you can get to the scythe count to a point where that is significantly high, it's gonna be it's pretty dang strong. So for now, we got strike nodes. Strike nodes and blast nodes. So this is this is defended. Although I guess the blast node, there we go. Okay, yeah, this is absolutely defended here. This is not going to work out. This pressure, it does damage on the collection array, but you can surge that up, so it just heals right back up. It's going to be fine. Gonna heal, but yeah, we're actually, wait, I'm sorry. That region is from when you're on green energy, and Nina's not on green energy at the moment, spending it elsewhere. So eventually this collection array is going to heal right back up. Eventually things are going to be fine as Nina takes the upper left base. Snoxtar getting the bottom right as we go truly into the late game. But the problem is Snoxtar's got the center base. This is effectively 2 bases in one, maybe even more than that, because not every base has Therium on it. This means that Snoxtar is going to max out faster, which is rare. We don't see a lot of maxed out games, but this means that Snoxtar is going to max out faster. This means that he has a just better army. This means that he's going to mine so much more over the course of this game. So Nina's going to have to start to take some incredibly cost-effective fights. Her army now not where it needs to be to defend this base. This base is just going to go down. We do, of course, have Sovereign's Watch. The upgrade's not there, so it's not doing maximum damage, but it is something. And Nina will lose this base But her goal right now, ideally, look at that. Okay, they're all smoked. And that's going to be an immediately dead Magmadon. Nina is going to lose base. She's going to lose the north side base as well. Yes, there are going to be some blast nodes, some strike nodes getting some damage done here. But she's going to go try to trade for a whole hell of a lot more here, taking the middle of the map. Yes, it is 2 for 2, but I would argue that this is probably more impactful, especially as, well, I'm trying to mine from this base. That's not really going to matter. But if she can hold the middle, her area denial is so strong in this setup. She's going to knock this down. And then, again, these prophecies, they zone out tremendously well. But she didn't get enough here. She didn't take down all the Shroud. Dark Prophecies around the corner, though. That's absolutely what you want. And just zoning, buying time. You really need, though, besides have to get on top of this army, they have to get on top of the Hellborn, or Nina gets melted. That is always going to be the story. And the Purify is not where it needs to be. Nina kiting away through it, running her way through it. Prophecies on the Gaunts. They're melting them down. More Purify still here, so it's not like there's any Infest available. But this Concave out of Snoxtar is still very good. Even still, no Gaunts, no anti-air anymore. Now the size, they get to start to play. And this is 3,000 Therium in this army right now that Nina's now going to try to clean up, get on top before the anti-air starts to arrive. There's a Dragon here as well, but that is half the Hellborn army down. Nina lost a lot of supplies. Only back down to 3 bases. She's going and stealing money from this Luminite mine out from the face of things. And because she didn't totally take the position, because she didn't 100% take the position. Yeah, Nina, she says she's dead. That's it. Snoxtar is going to take the series 4-0. Dragon pops out. And unfortunately, Nina almost made it happen. But man, giving Snoxtar this base for so long. Oh man, so not worth doing. But anyways, if you like this, you want more of this, you want more Stormgate Sundays every Sunday, hopefully, as I can make things happen, go follow the channel on Twitch, twitch.tv/BeoMulf. Go sub to my channel on YouTube, and go and join my Discord, where you'll find out what the next matchups are going to be. The match arena is going to be up in advance if you want to go and help fund this a little bit more. And if you want to go donate to me, sub to me, that helps out. That just helps justify things that much more. But thanks for watching, everyone. See you next time.